Tell us, introduce yourself and tell us how long you've been competitively kayak fishing.
I'm Matthew Conant from Bourne, Mass. I've been competitive like 2019, 20, I think 19. I got in Derek. Derek got in before I did and kind of opened my eyes to it. I had a crawdad for a couple of years. He was
Mhm,
fishing any bass and kayaks and they allowed crawdads. So
mhm.
I had a crawdad for a couple of years and I'm like, yeah, I gotta get into the kayak.
Yeah. So what are you rocking for a kayak?
I got a new canoe, unlimited, last
Nice.
year's model. I haven't
Very cool.
upgraded yet. I might get the max.
Yeah, it's really nice.
Yeah.
Yeah, I
I gotta
saw it
see
on
if
Derek's
it's
channel.
uh, kinda hoping it's a little bit more compatible with my trolling motor because that thing's a beast.
Yeah. What do you got?
Garmin, tracking.
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah. My
Yeah.
buddy Connor just installed that. He hasn't been
Dude,
out
thing's
yet.
like 80 pounds. It's heavy. It's
He's got
heavy.
it on the Titan X. I think he's
Yeah,
got a Titan X.
yeah.
Did you do any upgrades this off season on the kayak? Or are you just running with it the same?
Just the same, dude. I mean, how much can you get as far
Mm,
as gear or technology, whatever? Got the live scope, a couple of graphs, a
nice,
trolling motor. Like to
nice
keep it simple as possible.
for
I don't
sure.
need all the little gadgets.
Yeah, do you run Garmin? Is that your preferred?
Yeah, yeah.
Have you ever, used any of the other ones to get the feeling for any of them?
I haven't, to be honest with you. You know, the whole electronics thing was all new to me from basically when I started kayaking,
Mm,
like really getting into them and actually using them
yeah, for
in the
sure. It's
tournament
funny.
fishing.
Um, when I was looking at installing, I reached out to a couple places. I ended up talking to, it's called Bass Fishing Electronics or something like that, and they
Yep.
put me on with, who's the kid out of Maine? Fishes, Jake. So they put me on with Jake, and he rocks a Hummingbird for his graphing, and then he has a Garmin for his forward facing. I think that'd be a little too confusing trying to go back and forth between the operating systems for me.
Yeah, well, they say each brand has
Mm,
its bonuses. Like the side scan, from what I see and read, that's not as well as good as the Hummingbird.
yeah, I heard they got that scout mode for that. I heard that's really nice. I almost went with that, but I decided to stay with Lowrance because I was familiar with the operating system. Yeah, yeah, I stayed with Lowrance.
And I'm not really a electronics nerd by any means. You know, I
Mm.
barely even figured out live scope, and I've had it for years. I don't
Do
use
you
it like some of these other guys do.
Yeah, I was gonna ask you that. Do you have it on all the time? Are you just like kind of use it as like just a visual thing, or do you actually like dial in sometimes and use it to fish?
No, I usually have it on all the time because even when I'm steaming across the pond, I'll have it on like kind of like a 45 out to the side.
Mm,
And, you know, whether you're going to run over a tree that you might not pick up on your side scan or a couple of stumps or something like that, I find a lot more stuff with that
mm,
than fish, to be
yeah.
honest with you. Structure, random stuff that you would never know.
Mm,
Unless you're really sitting there, it's glaring at your screen the whole time, which, you know, I'm always thinking about this and looking over there at that and bird watching.
yeah, yeah, yeah. Yeah, it's kind of I find myself looking at it, not using it as much to fish, but
Yep.
you kind of for me, it's more of I'm trying to grasp every inch of the pond, like as much as I'm seeing. I'm just basically reading. I haven't really used it much to. I mean, I've caught fish on it and I've been dialed in on them, but I haven't like really got into it. It's more of just a tool to kind of like see what's out there in front of me.
Yeah.
I
I
really
tried a
like.
lot more of it last year and, you know, I did have some good bites where it was like, yeah, this is how it's supposed to work.
Yeah, and you got those good ponds out there for it to work too. Like where
Yeah.
I live in Norton, like it doesn't even really work in Norton Reservoir. It's too shallow, too weedy.
Yeah. Like I
Yeah,
said, finding grass lines and like lining it up, the edges and stuff like that, that's a lot of what I use it for.
yeah. Do you prefer offshore fishing, or are you kind of pound the banks and structure kind of guy?
I'd say my strong suit's pound the bank.
Mm,
You know, I'd love to get a lot better at offshore. You know,
mm,
some of these other guys are really good, live or die offshore, and they seem to do well
mm,
all the time. So something I got to work on, that's for sure.
yeah, yeah. I mean, we can always be better at all of our stuff in the craft.
Yeah, absolutely,
So let's talk a little bit
absolutely.
about last year, man. Like, I 2024 was my first year, and my first event was Weequaquic, and I had a rude awakening, and you were a part of that rude awakening. It was my first official tournament, and the first fish I caught was at 10 a.m. And I look up at the leaderboard, and you got like 90 inches already. And I remember saying to myself, "Holy shit, this is another level." Because I struggle in the cold, and to see somebody put numbers up like that, like it was just so nonchalant, it was, it's inspiring, it makes me wanna be better, but it was definitely a rude awakening.
It's definitely spot oriented, you know what
Mm,
I mean? Basically the same cast caught all the fish.
yeah. Yeah, I heard you pre-fished heavy for that.
Yeah,
Oh,
it's just you find some of those spots, and half the time they're by mistake, but,
mhm,
and then you fish them enough, and you go back and you caught a few more fish there, and then you go back again, and there's a couple of spots in that pond where they're there. You
yeah.
know when they're gonna be there.
Yeah, for sure. A lot of people talk very highly about that pond. I've only fished it twice. I did it pre-fishing, the weather was terrible, and then that day the weather was terrible, but, it seems
Yeah,
all those big ponds down there that fit that big size, 2, 300, 40, 50 feet deep, they just seem to hold giants out there.
yeah, guys, crush them there. I mean, I don't fish down the Cape. I fish the Cape in the wintertime and springtime.
Yeah,
Once it starts getting, I don't even bother heading. I live right over the bridge, and
mm,
John's isn't too far, but I'm usually working up north, so if I got
mm,
my kayak with me, I'll just stay up that way
yeah, for
instead of
sure.
hitting that Cape traffic. It's brutal.
Yeah, and it's only gonna get worse when they start replacing those 2 bridges, and that's coming, they say
Yeah,
it's gonna take 5 years to replace both bridges, which is sounds insane.
yeah. Rumor is they're gonna build them first and then tear down the old ones.
That would be smart.
Yeah.
If you had to go down to one bridge, it'd be a fucking nightmare for most
Oh,
people.
disasters. Yeah.
So do you put any expectations on yourself going into the season? Like, I mean, you've had, crazy success, national, local, but are you still like grinding and saying, "Hey, like these are my goals this year," or do you just say, "Hey, I'm just gonna go out and fish hard and see where it ends"?
Well, I mean, my goal is to win. If I get on the water, that's my goal is to win. I'm super
Mm,
competitive, and I don't know. I tend to like when I was 30, I started riding dirt bikes, and I was racing within the first 6 months. I was doing hair scrambles and I was learning. I grew up around dirt bikes, and buddies had them, and you rode here and there. But I started really riding when I was 30, and
mm,
that's just how it is.
mm. You
Super
kind
competitive. If I get into something, then I get locked in, and I like to compete.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, definitely. You can tell people just have that, but they can just focus all their energy on it. It's amazing to see people grow in the sport. Let's see just our little state up in this Northeast. Anytime anybody goes out down south, we always present well. It's
Oh yeah, oh
a
yeah.
lot of hammers, a lot of hammers, a lot of good people to look up to. Um,
There's some serious sticks up this way. That's for
yeah,
sure.
yeah, 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 yeah. So, MAKB closing. You want to tell us how you feel about that?
Sad,
Yeah,
sad. Yeah, I mean, it was a bummer. It was a good thing that was going. It was a little bit of something for everybody, and it was a good community. But I don't think it needed to shut down like it did. Unfortunately, somebody couldn't just take it over and keep it rolling. But it is what it is. Definitely lost something special. That's for sure.
yeah, yeah, and we do have a couple people trying to hold the torch, but definitely that. It's like the Bassmaster. When you see that, it just means something different. MAKB just
Yeah.
meant something different.
Yeah, it was like the whole state was one thing, and now you got, like, a few different things to pick from, which is good for everybody because everybody wants to do their thing, so there's an option for every level if that's how you wanna categorize it, but you know what I mean? But,
Yeah,
I mean, when it was MAKB, that was just all the good guys were always there, and at any given day, somebody could win, you never knew who was gonna win.
yeah, yeah, definitely. It's a bummer. I still miss it. I just miss
Oh, yeah,
that. I know
absolutely.
we're gonna see all the people. It's gonna be fractured, but I don't know. Yeah, it's still a bummer to me. It hasn't hit me yet. I know it's closed. When the tournament season comes in and it's not MAKB, it'll definitely hit me.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I'm curious to see how it turns out. As
Mhm.
far as, like, attendance, you know what I mean? Is it gonna make it so the other events take away from other events, or, is everybody just gonna fish a lot more and fish all the events?
Yeah, it's some of the days have 3, sometimes 4 competitive events you could fish out of a kayaks. It's gonna be tough to chase in 2 different, especially with the way, I don't know if you've been following with, like, Ari's group. I know MABASS is if you wanna chase those points and go for a title. Yeah, but the only good thing is actually you could compete in both of them and do 2 state championships because
Yep.
MABASS, they're gonna have it right in the middle of August so we can submit our names for the end. And I don't know
Yeah,
if
that's
you
gonna
heard.
be early, right? I mean,
Yeah.
halfway through the season and it's gonna be over, so that's kinda good for me too because tuna fishing starts up around then, so I'll be
Yeah,
looking to do some of that.
they're gonna have the championship. Obviously, we have to submit our names for September, so they're gonna have the championship. So Mike Morcone was on the a couple days ago, and he said that there's talk that they're gonna have the national championship up this way because it's
Oh,
earlier.
really?
It's earlier
Yeah,
this year. So he was like speculating. He's like, I don't think they'll ever go to Lake George with the wind, in October. But imagine like a Cayuga October national championship event.
that'd be sick.
Be pretty fucking sick, dude.
Yeah, I'd like to see him come up this way, you
Mhm.
know? Whenever they do, they have a good attendance,
Yeah. Yeah, yeah, yeah. You gonna
we
do
don't
any
have much
national
up here.
you gonna do any national events this year?
With work, I'm gonna say no,
Mm,
but if I can squeeze them in, then yeah, I have so many irons in the fire right now, it's like it could pop off, and if it pops off, then I won't be having any time off except for, obviously the weekends because I gotta have my weekend, so
mm.
I'll hit it hard all week, and they'll cut back on my traveling. Now that I'm working for myself, it's a little different world. Before I was taking weeks off and still getting paid.
Yeah. Yeah, it's, high risk, high reward, but,
Yep,
yeah, I love the flexibility. I was a business owner myself. I love the flexibility of it, but, you're at the mercy of the business. If the business is there, you gotta take it.
absolutely.
Mm,
And the national trails, they're like I don't know. I had fun doing them. It wasn't like I had to do them. I enjoyed doing them and traveling with Derek, and we had a lot of good times, a lot of laughs on the road, and
mm,
memories and adventures in the kayaks down south in the back swamps of Caddo Lake. Some crazy stuff. We seen some
mhm.
some cool stuff together. That's for
That's
sure.
awesome. I was
Yeah.
thinking on doing, like, stories from a ramp section where you just have somebody come on and talk about, like, a trip that they had where, like, a little 5-10 minute segment. I think that'd be kinda
Yep.
cool to bring some of these trips to light, because, like, we have all these fun stories, like, it's nice to share them, other people be involved in them, even if it's just listening.
Absolutely. Me and Derek found a submarine on Caddo Lake out in the swamp. We came across a submarine. Don't ask me how. Miles deep, and no more than 3 feet of water. But somebody had a submarine up in their yard.
Sounds like it'd be a little nefarious things happening over there.
Oh yeah, and it was getting dark at the time as we're coming back, and we're like going down through the cypress trees trying to stay low so nobody would see us. They had burning barrels going off in the side yards.
Damn.
Yeah, yeah,
That's really the backwoods down there, man. You get pulled off a kayak, they'll never find you.
yeah, yep.
So BASS, is there a reason why, you're kinda leaning towards that trail versus REs or Torrances?
Well, because you can qualify for the championship through it, so that's because
Mhm.
I'm not being able to, and now that Bass is running the championship the same year as the trail, then if I can qualify, then I could make an excuse to get off for a national trip and join Derek on one of them.
Yeah, for sure.
He just left yesterday, actually.
Did he? It's Cotto, right? Is that the next one?
No, he went down to Chickamauga and Nickajack for last year's championship this coming weekend or 2 weekends from now.
This is the championship for last year, they're just
Yep,
having it,
yep.
and now this is what they're doing is this year's championship's gonna be in October, right?
Yep, the same year as the actual trail, which is I kinda like that.
Yeah, I wonder what the like, first of all, it seems kinda weird that they would have the championship the next year, but I wonder why they're changing it. There's gotta be a reason.
I think it kinda jams them up, so they wanna space their events apart a little bit, and then I think maybe this is just my personal thought, maybe the championship jams them up at the beginning here, so some people weren't able to make it. Like, I got a call the other day from Steve Owens, and between people not showing up and, roll downs, I ended up getting a seat to the championship. He's like, "It's kinda late notice, but we're just going down the list," but I couldn't make it. It's too much commitment right now.
For sure. On all the MABAS, but out of all the spots for MABASS, is there anything like that really stands out? Like that you maybe a spot you haven't fished or one you're like, oh, I really
Yeah,
fished.
like all of them.
You haven't fished all of them, or you have fished all?
No, I haven't. Probably like
Wow.
all of them. Like, I mean, none of them really sound familiar. I haven't really looked into the list, but I mean, I've noticed like two of them that I actually noticed. John's, right, is the first one.
Yep. John's is April 20th.
Yeah, and then what's there? Another one, Tully. I don't think I've ever been there.
So Tully is this right here, my background.
Oh, really? Is
That's at full capacity. It's run by the Army Corps of Engineers. Amazing place, man.
that your home pond?
No, 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 no. I live in Norton.
All right.
So the idea behind this is I had this up for a long time, every interview, and I was asking people if they could recognize it. We went here last year for the West, but the water level was like 8, 7, 8 feet down. It was really,
Wow.
really insane, like absolutely insane. But it exposed so much. So
A lot of
I'm
rock in
looking
there?
forward. I'm like, I really want to go back this year. I ended up getting the big fish last year, but just like seeing it, it's like one of those places that just seems really fun to fish. So Tully's the second, Nada's another one. Coldbrook, a lot of people said they haven't fished that. That's kind of like,
Never been there.
yeah, it's I think it's part of the Connecticut River, but it dams up and a portion of it is into the New Hampshire border. But
Alright.
I think you can fish it because you launch on the Mass side.
So is it a river event?
No, that's like it is a pond, but I think it's on the Connecticut River, meaning like water that flows in and then
I
flows
gotcha.
out of it is through the Connecticut.
Yeah.
Then there's Webster. Yep, that's that
Yeah, I
chugga
fished
mugga mugga
Webster.
mugga.
Yep.
Yeah, a Charles River,
Yep.
Manchug, Cohituate, and then
Alright, maybe I have fished. Alright, maybe there's only a couple of them I haven't fished then.
yeah, and then the championship rivers championships on Connecticut, Oxbow and Bartons. Yeah,
Roxbow and Bartons, huh?
yeah,
Oh, that's interesting.
yeah,
I
yeah.
did a fresh baits tournament with Derek and his other glitter rocket boat, and we made a run, dude, and we found some stuff, and it was this punch and bite. It was nuts. And then some other dude from the tournament pulled up towards the end of the day. He's like, "You guys are here? What are you guys doing down here?" He just steamed like 7, 8 miles or something like that to get down there, and he didn't figure anybody went down there. We
Mm.
just went down there, sat there all day on these brush piles. It was awesome.
Yeah, I've never fished the Connecticut River. I'm excited. I'm hoping to do as many as I can. Financial and time is gonna
Yeah,
be a factor this year, but, at the very least, I'll be involved in, because I'm on the MABASS committee. We got a bunch of stuff planned. We wanna, like, take pictures, do, like, walkthroughs. We're trying to, like,
yeah,
bring more of what Bassmaster events offer to,
yeah.
like, Facebook, bring it to light, And that was kinda, like, my reasoning for this podcast was just kinda connect people more and just bring things more to light.
I like your idea of the winner's circle, you know what I mean? Interviewing winners from the week before. That's pretty cool.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Oh, I thought yes. Yeah, so this whole interview with you guys, this kinda just evolved, right? Because I tried talking into the void to, like, about stuff, but I'm a chef, and the way I work well with, like, designing menus and recipes is, like, bouncing ideas back and forth off of people, so I love the collaboration aspect for my career. It, like, works well for me, and it just kinda evolved to this, so I'm gonna see how it goes with I don't know if I can talk into for 15 minutes into the camera without speaking to somebody.
Right. Oh, yeah.
I don't know if I have it.
I'd be struggling with something like that. I get up there and I'm like,
Yeah,
like,
yeah, yeah, yeah.
oh yeah, lost for words type deal.
But, we'll see. I thought you were talking about, I had said a couple interviews ago that, it's nice that we have all these championships, right? But, like, we should have a statewide one, right? Like, maybe we
Yeah.
can get the top 5 from all 4 of the or 5 of the events. Maybe $1 from every candidate at each sends, and then they use that to pay the entry fees for their 5.
Yep.
And then we just, we do, like, one event at the end of the year where 20 anglers, literally the first, second, and third, it'd be the state champion. I
That'd
mean,
be a good time.
probably be a long ways off from something like that happen. A lot of planning. You'd have to be like a year in advance, and you got to get all the groups to like agree to something like that. I mean, I'm sure there's a way to do it, but it's a tall mountain to kind of like get that going. But I don't
Yeah.
know, maybe obviously you're gonna have to have some sponsors. Like people are gonna have to put some money up, uh, which I don't really know how that works. I haven't really got into all that.
Yeah, me either.
Yeah, you're not sponsored.
No, no, I mean, I've been on the New Canoe national team, but I mean, they give me discounts on the kayaks and stuff like that, but I never went down the sponsor rabbit hole, you know what I mean? I just like to fish and I like to be low key and I don't need the glory shots and stuff like that. I mean, if the dudes are doing it and they're actually getting paid for their time, then that's awesome.
Yeah, yeah, for
All
sure.
the power to them. But, I'm not just looking for promotional staff, 10% discounts and all that nonsense.
Yeah, at that point, it's like I feel like the sponsors were way better like 10, 15 years ago. You got more out of it. Now it's more of like what can they get out of you?
Right. Yeah. I mean, they're basically taking advantage of you. anybody that wants to give them free advertising, basically.
Yeah, Mike was talking about when they had KFL and they had like sponsors and they were paying for all their entry fees and their travel and everything. He's like, at the end of the year, we'd have like $1,500 left, and that's after everything. And he goes, eventually, the
Oh,
sponsors
yeah.
picked up. They were like, "What are we actually getting out of this?" So they kind of pulled back, on giving the money. But I'm
That
sure it
was
was.
that was some of the funnest stuff ever, let me tell you, that KFL, the matches, and it was team fishing. It's a different beast for sure.
Yeah, it'd be cool to get that back around. And I think Matt was saying he had thought about like when with MAB KB closing, he had thought about like bringing back like a team trail.
Yeah.
So Matt's actually, not Matt, Mike is actually maybe putting that through for the next couple years or something.
Yeah, that'd be a good time.
Then there's supposed to be like I think it's in June. Somebody was telling me Ryan yesterday. There's like a team event on the Cayuga in June. Supposed to be some big,
Yeah.
big trail event. I'm gonna look into
Yeah,
doing that, but I
yeah,
mean,
there and the Susky.
it's like the same time or like this year.
No, 2 different events in their series.
Who's putting that on?
I think, Fluke Master and somebody else runs
Oh,
that,
right.
last I knew.
Yeah.
But, I mean, that's some fun stuff when you can communicate and
Mm,
stuff like that and talk while
yeah.
you're on the water.
How does the 5 fish work? Is it just best 5 from the group?
Yes.
Okay.
Yep, I
Still
believe
5
so.
fish? They change it to 6 or 3?
I'm not 100% honest,
Mm,
but I think looking at the last results, because they just had one down, might have had one in Florida or something like that. Maybe it's the best 10 because each angler had 10 fish on their thing, and then they just pulled the best, so it must be the best 10.
mm. Yeah,
And
I'm
then
def
I think one angler can catch all 10
wow.
if it comes down to it or something like that.
Wow, yeah. Yeah, I mean, I'm definitely gonna look into that.
But anything that brings that team effect into it is like it's something special.
Yeah, I watched, I followed the group for a couple years before I actually competed. I was watching all those KFL things, and
Yeah, the live streams and we we had some laughs. I mean,
it
it
was
was a
awesome.
good time.
And, like, then the EKF started to do the live events, and I was like, "This is fucking awesome." Like, I know some of the people that are in it. Like, I'd
Yeah,
be out on my kayak fishing all day, I'd have my earbud in, and I'd just be listening to live coverage of, like, Winnipesaukee. Like, it's cool, like, because you see it, but it's not around us, so to have stuff like that, like, near to
yeah,
us and you're only, like, 1 degree away or whatever they call it. Yeah, it's exciting. So, hopefully, we can bring that a little bit more to this area.
yeah. That was another unfortunate loss. Was EKF. I
Yeah.
mean, I saw a lot of people that were like, they didn't see that coming either.
Yeah, 5 years. It was an active 5 years, I think.
Yeah, I think they started getting traction after the second or third year, and
I saw
then it just kind of fell off at the end for some reason.
there was like, 60, 70, 80 people at the beginning. Then it
Yeah,
kinda tapered off, so, like, you'd only have, like, 25, 30, but still 25, 30. I mean, that's a good get together, especially, like, on the bigger lakes. Now you don't have to worry about everybody.
yep. And there's a
Yeah,
lot of people in New England looking for stuff to fish like that, kind of like a regional thing. You know what I
yeah.
mean?
I think NH kinda took that if you think about it, because now they're doing Maine, New Hampshire, and Vermont.
Yeah,
Yeah. Did
yeah. I'm gonna do some of them too.
Their trail looks sick. They had a lot of nice spots on the trail. I was actually a part of that before MABASS surfaced, and then I kinda just transferred over because they offered me the Vermont side, but I don't wanna drive to Vermont and be a director for a state that's, like, 3 hours away and then 2
Right,
hours to another. It's just I'm grateful for what they offered to me, but it didn't work out, so I'm kinda glad I kinda went with the MABASS, but, yeah, I was really excited when I saw their trail came out. And that's actually what they wanted to do is they wanted to fill that bigger regional and have it like a little bigger, bigger trail.
right. Nice.
Yeah, so you're gonna get up there and do a couple?
Yeah, if I have the time, and that's something you can pre-fish and go up the weekend before type deal, and
Yeah.
it's not 4 hours. It ain't bad. I drive up there in the morning, fish all day, and drive home.
Do you always pre-fish? Like, even in, like, lakes that you've been on 100 times, do you pre-fish?
No,
No.
no,
Yeah.
very rarely. And that could be one of my faults too, is
Mm,
pre-fishing. Definitely researching on like the national level. That's one of my downs. If I
mm,
put some more time into that, probably help me out some, but I've only got so much time. Seems like I'm busy, busy,
yeah.
busy.
Well, I hope you're gonna do as many as you can this year, man. I always love seeing your name on the
Yep.
trail, man. You got
Yeah, I'm gonna come and do some of the REs. I'll
mm,
do a couple of Torrances, you know what I
very
mean?
cool. Yeah. Yeah, I'm excited for Torrance's too. I bet you there'll be a lot of people that'll come out just because it's no forward facing.
But yeah, I
And
mean,
then
if I get a chance to fish, dude, I'm there. It
mhm,
doesn't really matter the trail or whatever. But
yeah,
if I got to pick one over the other, it's gonna definitely be mass bass.
yeah.
And
There's like
I
10,
enjoy fishing a tournament every weekend.
yeah, 38 events so far lined up this year, like that you could potentially pick from in like 6 months.
Yeah, that's wild.
That's including NH, but I didn't include Ben's Tackle Shack. So 38 events. NH has 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 13 events. Champlain's going to be their championship.
What is Ben's? Is that the one that doesn't use the app
Yeah,
for
yeah, yeah,
judging?
yeah.
Yeah. Who's is Mass Bass? What is that going to be? Tourney X?
Yes, yeah,
Yeah,
because we used Fishing Chaos with MAKB, and Ari's
yeah,
keeping that. But yeah, it's so now you have to have the two apps for the.
yeah,
But there's like I think 12 or 13 names signed up, and they're all the names you would expect, all the big names. So I'm actually excited about that one. I'm excited to like see how it plays out because I do think that the Mass Bass is going to have the tougher competition in the state, if you ask me.
yeah. I mean, it goes with the Bass name and all that other stuff. You know what I mean? It brings that little extra excitement and a little bit more money too. That's might intrigue people and scare people off at the same time.
Yeah, they're giving away big checks this year too. I don't know if you saw that.
Oh, really?
Yeah, Torrance
That's
too.
cool.
There's a lot of things different happening that didn't happen with MAKB.
Yep,
They're thinking on shutting down the standings the last couple hours, so people have to stay. Then they announce the winners and they give them the check, take photo ops and all that. So they're
yep,
trying to like bring people back a little bit more towards like the end of the events where it wasn't so much the last couple years. I mean,
yeah.
again,
That's half the fun.
I know. I used to stay for at least an hour and just hang out and chat.
Yeah,
Ask because
absolutely.
they're getting off the water. They're all excited at what they caught it on. People kind of talk a little bit more after the event than before. Not
Oh
that I
yeah,
want the secrets, but I just love talking shop.
yeah, absolutely. I like asking dudes. Oh, what'd you get him on? What'd you get him on?
Yeah.
For sure.
Are you like a do you consider yourself a power or a finesse fisherman?
More of a power guy. I like
Yeah.
to tuck and wind.
Yeah.
ABCs, man. You know what I mean? If
Always be cranking?
accuracy by volume, dude. That's how I roll. Just keep throwing.
That's awesome. Hey, Matt, anything else you want to bring up?
Not necessarily. I'm just looking forward to a good season and hopefully we have some good turnouts and all these other trails are successful and
Mhm.
which I'm sure they all will be. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Got a good group of guys in the New England area that like to fish and there's plenty of them. So
Yeah, it's
I'm
good.
looking forward to seeing everybody.
Yeah,
I'm looking forward to getting out on the water. The day this ice is gone, I will be out there.
there's talk
You
that
mark my
John's is
words.
kind of thawing. There's
Oh,
like
really?
open water on John's.
Interesting. Cause I
Ye-
took a ride around today. I didn't work today, and I took a ride around, and everything I saw was still locked up, but I wasn't down on the Cape,
Mhm.
so could be a different ball game. We have had some rain here,
Yeah.
so
Yeah.
all the snows, it's disappearing quick.
I hope so. Hey, get you all dialed in so you can beat Bruce's record day one.
Oh, yeah, Bruce is right. Man, I've been busting his chops because we still have the Maulers chat for the most part. Everybody's still in there, and Bruce, any chance he gets, he puts up that picture of his big bass, and then he brings up. So I've been busting his chops like, game on, John's Pond. I'll be down there for like 6 weeks ahead of time
Uh,
practicing.
yeah,
I
you
said,
could do it, man. You pulled some big fish in John's and
yeah, I'll be happy to get 5. Never mind break his record, but I like busting his chops.
I got to ask you. Last year at I think it was John's. Yeah, I think it was John's. So you went south and tucked into that cove near that tree. Like right like as soon as you come south, it's like a big cove where that river that goes down. And there was a tree right on the right-hand side. And I'm pretty sure you logged the big bass at that tree.
Yeah, yeah, I threw the jig in there.
That
Oh,
was
yeah.
my fucking first spot I was gonna go to. And you got a motor and you went there. All love. No, I'm not, I actually, all three of my first spots, people were at. Like, my second spot was to go in the back river, Ken went. And then my third spot was to go when near the buoys where they had all the boats that were
Yeah,
docked. And Anthony posted up over there. So I struggled hard in that tournament because I found myself just wandering. Like, I didn't have like anything I was kind of targeting. I kind of just tried to search fish and it didn't work out.
we're gonna have to watch out for John Ferreira there.
Yeah. Yeah, he claims he caught like an 8 and lost it at the tournament, like in the tournament.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, he was on some big boys. So,
He's another one to watch out for, you know?
absolutely.
Yeah, great
That's
dude.
it's gonna be a live scope game, so
Like I said, man, we got a lot of mountains in the state. It's nice to look up to you guys, man.
it's good competition.
Fuck yeah.
I like it.
I love
I
it.
like it.
Matt, I hope to share the water with you this year, man. It's
Absolutely.
always a pleasure. And hey, this is the first time we actually got to sit down and chat. So I really appreciate your time.
Yeah, well, I appreciate you having me on,
Fuck yeah,
and
bud.
hopefully I'm in a couple of Winner's Circle interviews.
Yeah, you could be the one that's on the most this year, man. I feel it.
We'll see.
All right, bud. Be safe. Yeah, man. We'll get on the water soon.
Alright, man, have a good night.
Yes, sir. You too. Thank you.